Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So today we have got the Numidian Cavalry at tier 8, so this is the Carthaginian cavalry line. But this video is sort of half about these guys and half not. So just to diverge from the topic slightly, I'm actually filming this about a week or so after I've actually filmed the battle replay. So I've had a live battle, I've recorded that, and for whatever reason I never got around to recording this side of things. And editing them together, so there's going to be like a weak disparity between the two. And the video is kind of going to look a little bit sort of at how tier 8 fits in with the matchmaking, and we'll be having a look at these guys as well as the Numidian Cavalry, like a first look. But you know, I haven't got these guys upgraded at all yet, and it's quite a brutal upgrade path, but we'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. So yeah, so tier 8 is kind of hard because you so often get thrown in against tier 10s, whereas if you look at other tiers, it tends to be just that +1, -1 disparity. So if you're tier 5, you can face tier 6s to tier 4s, but never at the same time. A tier 4 will never face a tier 6. And so that means your matchmaking is kind of nice because you're never facing anything that's so supremely more powerful than you that you can't deal with it. Whereas this is kind of harder because you're facing up against tier 10s, where they're just so much stronger than you. They're quite easy to kill, particularly when you're unupgraded like these guys are. Then at the same time you have to consider that being cavalry, it actually makes it easier, I think, at tier 8 than say tier 8 infantry, like a Roman infantry or a slow infantry really struggle against tier 10. But yeah, that's kind of what this video is about, and kind of see what the battle's about. It's made a little bit worse with these guys because of the way the Carthaginian cavalry line works. It's at tier 5 we're like the tribal cavalry, then tier 6 and 7s we go to that sort of Carthaginian professional cavalry, so they have sort of similar equipment. But then when you jump to tier 8, we're going back to the Numidian tribal cavalry. And as the consequence is none of the equipment from tier 7 is interchangeable with the equipment of tier 8 because they're like almost completely different nations. Obviously Numidia, I think, is just owned by Carthage, or was subjugated by Carthage, which is why they lent their cavalry. So, you know, completely different equipment sets. So when you start off with nothing, it's pretty tough because, you know, to even get a weapon upgrade, I'm going to go for this one because I'd rather have the 35 impact damage than the bit of melee attack. So, you know, I've got to do almost 50 grand's worth of shield, you know, just to get, you know, give me a little bit more armor and a bit of missile block chance, which is nice, of course, but just to get to the first weapon upgrade, you know, then I've got, what, another 75,000 to get the cloak upgrades. So, of course, it just means from the start, you're quite disadvantaged, because there's quite a lot of improvement that will happen to these guys as we progress. You know, we're going to be getting these upgrades here as well, the hats, because I want to go down the javelin men. But, you know, there's still quite a lot of upgrades to do, which kind of makes them pretty brutal when you're flung at tier 10 to tier 10 games. I mean, even against the tier 8s, it can be hard. But anyway, I diverge. I'm just moaning. Let's hop into the battle that I filmed a week ago and try and smoothly transition into this battle. So, I shall see you guys all in the battle. So, we are loading into the Battle of the Alps, not in snow mode, which is kind of a rare luxury. I don't see this map very often, not snowed. Where am I going to go? Oh, let's go over there. Obviously, yeah, pretty brutal matchmaking. Looks like we've got tier 10s on our team, so almost certain the enemy has got tier 10s on their team. And that's probably kind of the big problem, well, it is the big problem with tier 8s. I've mentioned this once or twice before in occasional videos where we copy the tier 8s. Is they just get such brutal matchmaking. You know, and that's only emphasised by the fact that these guys have no upgrades at all currently. They're completely stock. And that's in part because, you know, if I go with the Roman cavalry to tier 8, then the tier 10's there. Oh, I don't really want to go this way. Let's run away. If I go with the Roman cavalry at tier 8, then invariably some of the equipment carries over from tier 7 because Roman cavalry, legionary cavalry is similar to the Italian nobles, etc., etc., etc. Whereas that is just not the case with the Carthaginian cavalry because they're distinct step changes, i.e. These tier 8s and Numidian tribal cavalry have completely different equipment to sort of the professional Carthaginian infantry-based cavalry of tier 7. So, yeah, it kind of makes it hard because you start off so stock, which kind of makes it really difficult, you know, to compete, I think, in these sort of games. So here we've got some noble horse E in the middle. You see, obviously I'll lose on any charge to these guys. And now with the significant numbers of enemy infantry turning up, we've got to be really careful. It's those enemy javelins which I am fearful of, to be honest. Is that enemy cavalry? It is enemy Italian noble horse. So let's look. You see, I know I'm playing a cowardly game here, but you know, you've got to be careful. This shifty is getting nicely decimated by our light artillery. Looks like that Italian noble horse is committed to a fight that we are losing badly in this forest. I think I can get in on those javelins. Probably not, because it looks like there was a Roman infantry division with them. And I don't want to be getting in to tier 9 barbarian infantry either. So let's have a look about these handful of people here. Let's start to detach some people off. And think about making a move. Go for a charge there. You go in. Can do a reasonable amount of damage. We're going to get them to rout there. And the last one. Should be able to just rout this guy, hopefully. There we go, on the flank. And defeated. Okay, so that's kind of what I was just trying to do, is just pick my chances, just provide that little bit of support occasionally, and get in that sort of situation. So we've got an enemy elephant over there. The battle is going kind of against us. So we've got a bit of a stronghold going on here with infantry. Let's have a look. We have got our javelins, obviously, which we haven't committed to using at all yet. Maybe capping at the enemy base is the best bet we've got available to us, depending on what the enemy's got backwards in terms of support. So let's go and look down that way. Oh, looks like we're starting to get capped out as well. We've not got any dash on these guys, which obviously makes things a little bit harder. If these guys are unsupported, we'll at least go and throw a javelin at them. Although they could end up throwing a peeler back at me, so I'll end up doing me no benefit probably. Oh god, look at that as a hit. Oh no, that's not the right button. I pressed R instead of T. Oh, I'm being shot by slingers. Okay, let's try and get a side javelin. Well, we did a very slight amount of damage. That was not in any way worth it. We could try and just go for the distraction. Ah, we've actually lost decap on the Italian noble horseman. I was trying to go in for the decap to prevent them from catching up with me, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to be. We could have a look at trying to catch up with these horsemen, maybe. But they're significantly quicker than us, and they should beat us in a charge. They didn't beat us in the charge. Well, look at that. That was nice, wasn't it? Right, let's bring these guys round. Right, what do we need to do? We need to be debuffing this guy. Let's get that debuff in. And particularly now as our friendly infantry are going to turn up. So let's start to buff ourselves with our self buff. Oh, if we can get them to rout, that would be ideal. Come on, guys. Oh, dream. So that is nice. That is a tier 10 unit dead. Right, let's get out of that fight. Where are those slingers? Let's see what we can do against there, guys. It looks like we're going to get capped out ourselves, though. And we didn't remember to activate our Numidian advance, which was a shame. We actually have pretty decent missile block chance with these guys, to be honest. Let's push that way with you, just in case the opportunity presents itself. But it looks like we are going to lose, which is a real shame. We can clip one of them. At least we've got a little bit of damage in one of the slingers, if nothing else. So we'll just try and terrorise these guys. We'll leave a unit out on this side. I don't think we're going to be able to get back to do any more damage in time. Can't focus. Don't know where my Numidian advance ability is. These guys move away. Ah, such a shame we could have continued to really harass those slingers. That was actually quite satisfying. So yeah, so I feel like the main problem with these guys is not the unit but the matchmaking. And that's kind of where I feel they suffer the most. Yeah, I think that was kind of a hard one. I don't think there was probably a lot we could have done there. I was kind of umming and ahhing when we were at that point. When we sort of helped assist kill those noble horse on the edge of that hill, we could have either gone back to base to try and defend, or pushed on, you know, to try and cap, which is obviously what we decided to do. Maybe that was an error. Maybe we could have hung back and tried to defend a bit more. But I felt with the way we were losing, that the odds are we'd be better off trying to cap out rather than trying to defend in a longer term. Although these guys are actually pretty decent for defending, because remember they get that javelin toss. And it was only a patch or two ago, maybe a bit longer, that they actually got a buff to their javelins. So if you remember now, it's only a 30-second cooldown on these javelins. They actually have a 60-meter range as well. Not to mention they get that turning speed and deceleration buff, so they stop, throw, and turn off pretty quickly. So yeah, you know, it's not to be completely sneered at, the javelin throw. You can easily rack up, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 damage on the rear of an infantry unit if you get a nice throw. So yeah, it can sometimes be worth using. You know, certainly not worth forgetting what you've got. Although at the same time, I think don't, you know, throw away a charge to throw some javelins into a unit of archers or slingers. You know, you're better off getting stuck in that sort of case. You do see that occasionally, perhaps, particularly more than some like the tier 5s and stuff, which also have javelins, where people sort of use the javelins instead of the charge. Well, the javelins are for when the charge isn't available to you. It's just as a harassment tool. So don't throw away your abilities of a good charge into a nice target just to get a javelin through. So hopefully it's a bit of an introduction to these guys. We are certainly going to be playing a bit more of these. I need to just grind through some of the equipment. It's just such a brutal upgrade tree that it's really quite depressing. You know, the upgrades that we're going to get on the shields obviously are nice. You know, more missile block chance, more shield armor. You know, it's obviously all good. I'll certainly be unlocking them, and then we're probably going to go for this spear here, mostly because of the impact damage. The other one gets a little bit melee attack instead, but really, I don't see the point of that. Oh, and what's it against? Oh, it's against the weapon damage. No, melee attack, weapon damage, penetration. Oh, for 5 penetration. No, I'd certainly rather have 35 impact damage than a little bit of base weapon damage. So yeah, we'll be going for this spear here, and then we could be heading down these 2 tunics here to get these ones. But we'll also, I want to unlock the javelins, the tier 9 the Carthaginian javelins, because you really don't see them very often. They're really rare. So yeah, we'll be unlocking them at tier 9 as well. So a lot to go on this tree. So yeah, I'll get started and we'll probably revisit these guys once we've got them a bit more worked out. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel for lots more Total War Arena content. And thanks guys, I shall see you all on the next video.